not known by anybody before. So maybe you can get your second professorship on this one. Because I agree, I do agree. There is a special devil moving around when it comes to these things. General Smola, General Skippers, and the station commander, all people that raised their outstanding cases here must be recorded and taken. I hope you were listening. So there are about 4 or 5 people that have outstanding matters. Went to the police station, not taken care of. Went to the police station, there is no car, there is no police. When they go there are 5 police, 5 vans and all that. So I would love to get a list of those people and their numbers so that I hear from them if there is any progress after they reported. So they're becoming my program, or they're becoming my project as I'm standing here. So that we find the way forward when our clients, when our people raise issues, we must be able to respond and respond adequately. I'm just feeling sorry because I'm unlike President Cele who speaks all languages. I would have just finished as I'm here. I speak the language, your professor, so unfortunately I'm not Cyril Ramaphosa, who changes to all 11 languages of South Africa. I hope you would share the skills with all of us one day. In this meeting I'm picking up something different, something that we know, but we don't want to deal with. The depression of men. Quite several of them here, they rose up and they pleaded. You will hear that they are crying for some assistance. Professor Mayor, I did say in my labor meeting, maybe we move too fast without telling men that changes are coming. And we did not take them on board. We did not take them on board, but mothers are going to be bosses now. In terms of the economic standards, in terms of the status of life. You know, I'm a minister. So I go with woman with the wife, and they treat her as such, as the wife of the minister. I don't know how it feels to be treated as a husband of the minister. You see, they treat my wife as a spouse of the minister. But I wonder how it felt when you see that your husband is treated as a spouse and a seed. I don't know whether men are ready for those things. Because if you remember the apartheid government, at one time there was a certain fellow who was a minister of social welfare, only one woman. So it was taken for granted that ministers are men, and it ends there. It has changed now. There are men who are ministers. And above that, there's still going to be men. And men must get ready to be ministerial spouses. What your spouse is sure in that place. But now it's taken for granted what was spouse, family restriction, my wife. So those changes, they do need to be taken on board. That gentleman spoke a very painful story. The story of being taken to court and somebody has died and all that kind of stuff. I wonder how we deal with that. But fundamentally, we're not out of the woods to say women are victims of gender-based violence. Far, far more than men. We're not. So, while we take on board the other things that could have happened and that are happening, but we must not lose. We must not lose the fundamental issue of abuse of women, by the way, and children. And we don't separate those two, women and children. But also, we must not lose the sight to understand that there are good men, and those men, as men for change in the South African police, and all other men, like the founder of the foundation, they need to be taken on board and be allowed to lead the way going forward and help all of us, help the men and help women. And just be part of pioneers to say there can be change. I was born at a place called Uzumbe. That is exactly 100 kilometers south of Durban. But I grew up in the township called Namonville, one of the very rough townships. Usually, Chairperson, her friend, when you grew up and when the young ladies, small wife, you are from Namonville, that was the end. That was the end, the ladies born. We never mentioned where we were coming from. Mount here from Namonville. Okay. So I come from that township. My mother died when I was 9 months old. No, don't say shame, nothing shame. When I was 9 months old, and she was 20 when she died. So I grew very close with my dad. And we sit down and we talk. He used to support Amazula, I used to support Kaizer Chiefs. I still do. And as it is at Damba. One thing that we spoke about and all the time that got me groove and going is when he said, son, no matter what happens, you never put your hand on it. Said, when things are tough and you realize you can't handle it, please turn away and walk away, even if you walk away forever. Now, I wonder how many sons grow under fathers. Where will they hear that statement? These family issues are serious. Professor, these family issues are serious. Because our kids, they grow under bridges. They grow from other young boys, teaching them all wrong things and enjoying those wrong things. That's why today, you meet a young man beating the mother. I just, as I said, my mother died when I was 9 months old. But I don't have a picture even today beating my mother. From what side of life I come from. But today it happens because these young boys, they grow outside leadership of their fathers and families. So that's one thing that we have to work of creating some environment where young, I want to emphasize it, because there is this imbalance again. For instance, at work situation, there is this thing of taking the girl child to work. I think that you have to take a young child to work. You need to take these boys themselves so that they learn. So there is this imbalance. We're teaching girls more things that we're supposed to be teaching boys. Because it's not the girls that are ready. It's not. So next time, next time, founder, it will be good to come and speak to men. Hear their frustration, but also say to them, your frustration should not be frustration for women. Should not be. Deal with your frustration without finding yourself sweet base on top of a woman. These statistics we are giving here, nationally, from October to December, 11,000 women were raped in South Africa in 3 months. But here is the real statistics. 50% of them were raped in their own houses. Raped in the houses of boyfriends, husbands, uncles, raped in the houses of the people that are supposed to be defending them. And indeed, my friend, you can't send the police to stand on the side of Mantras and that becomes a societal matter, that becomes the relatives, that becomes the issue of all of us. That becomes the issue of women rising and saying to women, but you can't do this. You can't have a woman that is feeding ingane and alcohol. And it becomes normal, and the village doesn't run. Remember, the African child does not belong to an individual. It's a village child. So the time has come when the village will have to rise and say, as a village, not our name, and that village led by mothers. 4 or 5 weeks ago, I think I was coming somewhere here. When I see your number 7, at one point they were number 1. So I went to, I don't know what is this, I visited the mall here. I was asking everybody, and they did not ask me, they asked me, Ish. Now I'm told you to tell you. What is it? Which is nonsense. Compared to that, orator, your damn head rapes. I hear you talking about Bheki was raised. South Africa is the litigating country. Unfortunately, don't have the because people have the right to decide, but also there is a right or they have a responsibility after deciding that Umpesi is not for rating. It's for whatever somebody said is for enhancing the family. Enhance your family, and rape is not part of enhancing the family. Don't do those things. So it's important. This young lady, which I discovered later that she works for correctional center, she was around Shine, is well eaten. She sent the SOS to Minister of Police and Minister of Justice to say please help me. And indeed, the Minister of Police phoned the police. The guy gets up and said, the woman did go to open the case and find that she went to a wrong station where these guys were known by our police. And he was told This guy was told to come back the other day and was not arrested. Now he's arrested this guy. Young woman tells us, phones me to say, thanks, Minister, but I moved out of my home because my mother every night tells me to go and withdraw the case against me. And that's what mothers do. That's what mothers do. Not only that, that's what mothers do when uncles begin to rape the kids. His sister says, if he gets arrested, what are we going to eat? So families are supporting perpetrators instead of working with victims. And we are not going to deal with them. That's why more than 50% are raped where they're supposed to be safe. And I can assure you, mothers, sisters, they know that fathers and uncles, they rape young women in the houses. They know. They know. But they keep quiet for the benefit and for the smooth running of the family. Please don't embarrass us by going. And the young woman becomes a victim until gets a baby from the father. So the first call here is going to you as families. That's the first call. Especially mothers. Because indeed, you mothers, you don't rape daughters, but you are there when your daughters are raped. And you collaborate. You are there. When your brothers, who happen to be the uncle of those daughters, rape them, you are there. But because he's the only one who's working in this house, Malo, he's the only one who's working, we take that rubbish. I'm very glad with this new act that if you know and you don't report, you are over. Yeah. If you know and you don't report, now it's fagapagat. We are part of it. So it goes to families, it goes to mothers. The second call goes to those people that are supposed to protect the police. This story you hear here, police, that you tell women to go back and negotiate must come to an end. That thing must come to an end. Nonsense. You are not negotiators. If you want to be a negotiator, not a police, come to us, we'll send you to Ukraine and go negotiate there. We need some negotiators in Ukraine. When a woman comes to the police station to report that has been abused, don't send her back. You send her back today, you send her back tomorrow, and she never comes back again. Not because she doesn't want to come back. She's dead. She's dead. So you arrest and you allow the law takes its course. It's not you who determine that, but it's the law process, including the courts. You arrest and then it goes there. That's that. But secondly, you don't double ill-treat that woman. Woman comes here, you ask the woman, is this a skirt you were wearing? She points, this skirt is too short. It's easy, I tell you. You are not a fashion designer. You are not a fashion advisor. These women have a right to dress as they want to. They are fully fledged human beings. They don't have women rights. They have human rights. There is no two categories here of rights. There are human rights here. As human beings, fully fledged, they have those rights. And men must allow women. You see, there is this idea of that men must protect women. superficially might be correct. But men, but women don't need to be protected by yourself. They have a fully fledged right to get and claim their space to grow and let them fly. And when these women fly, they fly very high. So this mentality of as men, we must protect women. It makes us think they are our pets. The art of the pet car. So we must protect the chicken, protect your cat, protect your woman. No. No. Women are fully fledged human beings. They just need the space, and when they stop your nonsense of getting on their lane, allow them to drive on their lane. And there's no problem. They don't need your protection. They don't. They're capable and able to do it. So it's important. So, Mapoisa, social work, prosecutors, help us. Help us when women are there and raise the issues of being abused. Don't second guess. Just don't second guess. I know everybody complains with Mapoisa when they move. That's not true either. As I stand here, in South Africa, we've got more than 6,000 men that are doing life sentences. They're not in prison, they're doing life. Because we've created a unit called FCS that takes care of women and children. And for a judge or a magistrate to give you life, which means somebody has done a good job investigating and taking that case to court. So there are many good police officers, very many. There are very few that are bad. But the problem is always the case. You take a white sheep, you put a black spot, everybody sees a black spot, it doesn't say white sheep. So there are those few that they are spoiling our name. So these generals here must make sure that anybody that puts our name, good name, in jeopardy, flush them out of the system. Flush them out of the system. We better few and do it. So that will be my second way. Thirdly, the structures that foundation that is here, I heard you talking about the Rock of Ages, there are others. Those organizations must come together and work with us. The problem is when they begin to work against the law, some of them, they believe that their job is to bash the police. I must say, some of them, they just want to fund rent, using even these femicide things, this stupid thing. They want to, so they believe that bashing the police and bashing the law will give them more sponsors. And don't do that. When you need to bash us, come and then work with us as they've done. They could have called this session and just look around and call everybody that will be calling police and law names today. They could have simply done that. And call everybody names and they go home and they say they've done well. Let me tell you, it doesn't happen. That one doesn't work. The one that works is this one. Call them, give them the stick, but also say, we have given you the stick. We expect you to do 1, 2, 3, but we will walk with you in unison. But then we really walk together on this matter. Your statistics will be correct. The 0 statistics. When you wake up one morning and you say, no woman was raped here. That's another thing. We need to start here. Forget about the whole South Africa. Deal with the space where you are. We're coming back here ourselves as the Ministry of Police to have our own we would like to concentrate on young people, especially we have targeted Toronto and UCDC because Ziabari, who's number one between UCDC and Toronto. So we just want to sit down, hear the people out there. But maybe before that, General Speakers, let's tabulate things that were raised by the communities here as things that are enablers and things that cause you, besides the research of the professor, and things that are obvious. One of those things attracts. One of those things attracts. Let's tabulate that, find where these drugs are, and please deal with drug laws more than the drug peddlers. Because you deal with the drug peddlers and you don't with the drug laws. And the issue here, these drug laws get rich when our kids are dying. That one. The second thing that we have to tabulate are shillings. I want, by the time I come here, illegal shillings don't exist. Skippers, they don't exist. You are giving me so-called legal shillings that are breaking the law. For instance, it's very clear, there is no under 18 that is found in the outlet of alcohol. That's breaking the law. Even he has a license. Madam Acting Mayor, Councillor, please speak to the liquor board to withdraw those licenses. To withdraw those licenses. And the existence and proximity of those licenses. You know, where I come from, the township, or the suburb called the scheme. In front of one school, there was a ship-in. In this ship-in, there was a bedroom where during the night the kids would come and drink. But they would open the bedroom to sleep one another before they go back to the class. Because in this ship-in, many bad things are happening. So people, they think that we hate alcohol. We don't hate alcohol. I can enjoy it if I want to. I can afford whatever I want to. But I'm not going to be drinking it all. One day I come home, when I ask, how did I arrive home? Asking my wife, how did I arrive home? Where was my mind? Enjoy it. But by the way, it's only 31% of South Africa that are taking alcohol. No, only 31%. Out of 60 million South Africans, only 31% that are boozing. But South Africa is number 6 in the world when it comes to boozing. So, that is the West Africa. When you see South Africans, you think we're all drunk. But it's just 31% of people. So, it's one thing that we have to do to say South Africans, enjoy alcohol. Don't swing on alcohol. Don't buy alcohol and do things that you're not supposed and then tell us the next day that is because you were drunk. Third point that we have to weigh is to revive the community structure. Somebody spoke about the CDS. Yes. It's not exactly you. There was somebody who spoke. That is, yeah. Somebody spoke about the CDS. that civic assets will not allow collapse. I don't care. You are 60 million until you are told at the end of this counting by the Statistics General how many you are. So far, we're 60 million. I don't care. Even if 30 million of us will become the police, and 30 million does not cooperate, we're not going to do that. So we need to create structures that will work with the police and work with everybody that implements the law. So it's important that as you come here, MEC, where your counterpart has apologized. One thing, we want to move our CPF from the police station, and we enter in the offices of the MEC. Because our police, they have a problem of not encouraging CPF. Moreover, they monitor them. We don't want to create the bodies that will monitor them. So it's important that we take it to be a civilian body all the way. But there some CPFs themselves are out of order because they believe that they need to take the work of the police. They need to work with the police, not to bulldoze the police themselves. That's one. But another problem with the CPFs themselves has been taken over by criminals. Criminals, they go to CPFs, you have then have started chasing me. And you find the chair of a CPF is an 8-year ex-convict. The chair of a CPF. So it will be important that even the community will have to back these CPF members. I'm telling you, there is a place here called Jerusalem. Is it around here, Jerusalem? No, a group called Jerusalem. There is a group called Jerusalem. Babas, you know them, Jerusalem. First by the Bible. Such people are known, but everybody shrinks when you hear their name. And when community shrinks, maybe it leads to what one person said here, to say, police take the source of the information and give it to criminals. This one was told to us by Solomon. And police must protect their sources, must protect good community members against criminals. That should be that one. The fourth one, one figure that was not said here by there was a worrying figure of kids that are abused and raped in the institution of learning. That figure is increasing. That is supposed to be the safest place. But every year, they are even raped in kindergarten. So, then parents, beyond the structures, must be also responsible for their kids. Every kid has got two parents. So if you don't know what's the life of your child, what happened to her, especially her, but boys these days are also severely abused. And we are wrestling a lot of these teachers. I hear people say, I'm a boy secretary. Song is secretary. We are wrestling a lot of these teachers. While we are wrestling to opportunities. So I always worry when somebody somebody said the church must pray for us. Which one? It's no more automatic that the church pray for you. No. When you pray, I don't end up with you. We can't be praying for you. I don't end up with you. Who managed to groom kids from the 14 years old how to be sexual entities? Until you are 24. Can't one be sure what to do. So when we say I'm a food is our typers, I always ask usual. So parents, have a little bit of the time with your children. How was your day? How did teachers treat you today? And the child says, they were good, but my teacher touched me here. Yeah, touched me here, yes. And then as a parent, you rise and take it. But this kind of activities, I do want to thank the organizers very much. But things that were raised about us as the police, we do want to take them up. Those that were raised as a community, I'm very glad that can you see from a social worker and social workers are here. There are quite a big chunk of issues for social workers. Big chunk. That group who believes was thrown under the bus by whoever was a partner that needs an assistance. I had to say, Susan, that you are very happy staying alone. I can die if my wife can leave me. I can't stay alone. All my life is that wife of mine. So there are those that may feel that wives are bad, but let me tell you, I'll go in and just call her back to say, I can't live without you. It can't be norm. It can't be norm that you live better when the wife is not there. My name is daughter, many of men here, that 3, 4, 5 days down the line after you can see the day alone. Kids don't eat, himself doesn't eat, drinks and all that kind of stuff. So, if and when we can make a full-fledged family, they'll try to stay with those groups. I'm not saying that Abantu must stay under pressures and depression and don't find alternative, but to try to create, by the way, the most important organization in the world is not the United Nations. It's not NATO. It's not NATO. It's not NATO. It's not the World Trade Organization. The most important organization in the world is an organization called FED. There is no more important organization. If you have that organization, you are part of the organization, take care of the organization called FED. And if all of us, we can have to take care of that, the world will be much peaceful, will be much happier, will be much better, because all families will be taken care of by ourselves. So thank you very much. Those that have issues, I have you 1 to 5 minutes. 5 minutes is too long, we'll look at 3. But I'll listen to you. And all those that have issues, please write to the police. And I would like to have the number of myself so that we take it forward. Mayor MC, with your team, please, we have some follow-ups to do here of those people to deal with the individual problems that we raise here. Including helping those that get more information so that we correct those things. The last one ends with our phrase. Please, one phrase. Just please. When these human beings, women and citizens, they come to you, they are showing the hope that there is a body that can still help you. Please, please, don't dismiss it. There was one revolutionary that said, you can take everything out of us, don't take our hope. Take everything away from us, don't take away our hope. For the fact that they still come to the station, they are simply saying, we're still hoping. Don't undermine it. Next time I come in, I want to hear you say, the stations here are the best. There are best stations. I went to Western Cape. There is a station there which is called the Nyam. When it comes to matters and trade, you know that you start with number 2, number 1, you know it's Nyam. Now it's number 15. So as I went there, the community meeting that they asked me the question, where have you been keeping this station commander? This is the first station commander, which means station commanders, you create conducive working conditions in the community. I went to the other one, Mission State, and they say, please you go and give 10 more years for the station commander to stay here. So those are station commanders that must be there. People must rise and fight when you say we're taking you, because you belong to those people, you become part of the community. Once it is so, once the relationship between the police and the time just goes off, because criminals, they don't have the space. This division between yourselves and the community, it opens the space for criminals to take charge. So that's a call I'm making to the women and men in blue. Please, please, don't undermine the hope that the communities are showing you, especially women and children. Thank you very
much. Wow. Take everything, my daughter.